Hello, we are here at Sue's shop in Drapilli. My name is Kalara and we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to sew ribbon and elastic onto ballet flats. So to find where to sew the ribbon and elastics, just fold the back of the heel over till it makes a nice triangle. From there, where your thumbs sit is where you're going to sew. To place your elastic in, pop it about 1.5 centimeters down from the very top edge of the shoe, and then you're just going to pin it in place. Once you have your elastic pinned in place where it's going to be sewn, we're just going to start stitching it in place. So grab your needle with your knot in the end of your thread. From there, keeping on the inside of the shoe, we're just going to pick up the inside bit of fabric of the binding and come through the back side of the elastic. Pull it until it's all tight. Then in the very same spot, you're going to go do the same thing again, so through the back side of the elastic and top side of the binding. And before you pull it tight, we're going to leave it so there's a bit of a loop here, and then your needle goes through the loop, and then that's when we can pull tight. This creates a bit of a knot. So now we're going to do that all the way down, so come down a little bit from where you first did the stitch, through the top and then the back side of the elastic. And before it's pulled tight, you're going to go through the loop and then we can pull it tight. Same thing again. Once you get onto the canvas, don't go all the way through to the leather, you just want to pick up the canvas on the top side and through the back of the elastic. And then same thing again, so there's a bit of a loop. You're going to go through the loop and then we can pull it tight. Once you get to the corner of the elastic, I like to take the pin out at this stage, and on the diagonal in the corner, pick up the same piece of fabric and then through the back side again. Same thing, just on a bit of an angle, and then you can pull that nice and tight so it's pulled down into the corner. From there, we're now going to work across the bottom. Once we get to the other corner, it's the same thing as the first corner, just same thing on the angle. So now this is the last stitch to the top, and to finish it off, we're just going to do another stitch in the same spot, and then through the loop again. This kind of creates a bit of a knot, but then to make sure it's nice and secure, just come down the back side of that stitch that we just did and then pull it tight. Just make sure that end is going to be nice and tucked away, and from there we can just snip it. So stitching it around the very base and around the other side makes it nice and strong, so it's not going to go anywhere. Once you have one side sewn, to make sure the elastic is the right length, fold it across and pop it in its place, and just make sure it sits nice and flat across the shoe. From there, you can just pin it in place. Now you know it's going to be even. To sew the ribbon on, it's the same placement as the elastic, so you fold the heel across. And then to find how much ribbon you'll need, it comes in one big long piece, so you're going to fold it in half. So find half and snip it. And then you're going to fold it in half again. So fold it until it's halfway. There we go. Double checking it's equal. Yep. And then you can snip it again. This now means you have 4 equal pieces, and one of them is good for one side of the shoes. Now to place this one as well, you can just pop it in the 1.5 centimeters down like the elastic. I, however, like to tuck the bottom over just a little bit so it's folded out the way. I don't know if you can see that. fold it under and then pin it in place. This just means that it doesn't fray all over the place and it gives you more to sew into. So there you go, nice and square. Once again, it's the same as the elastic to sew the ribbon. You've got it pinned in place, just the one length of it. Grab your needle with the knot in the end again. And once again, we're going to come through the top side of the binding and then through the back of the ribbon. And then you can pull that till it's tight. Same thing again, the same spot, so through the binding and through the ribbon. And before it's tight, you're going to pop the needle through the loop, and then from there you can pull it tight. So that creates a bit of a knot, and then now we're going to go around the entire outside of the ribbon in a bit of a box sort of shape. Once again, it's the same sort of thing when you get to the corner, so you can take the pin out and then you're just going to come down a bit of an angle. So instead of picking the thread up right by the side, you just pick it up from down a bit below, and then you're going to come through the corner of the ribbon and then through the loop as well. That holds it down into the corner of the shoe so you can see that. And then from there we can now come down to the base of the ribbon and do the same thing across the bottom. So same thing once again, when you get to the very top where you're going to finish, you just go through the top of the binding and then through the back of the ribbon and then through the loop again. But to make a bit of a knot, we're going to do it in exactly the same place. So underneath yourself and then through the loop. To make sure this is nice and secure, it's not going to run anywhere, we're going to get the needle and come straight down the top side of the last knot that you just made. And then that should be able to just secure the tail away. And from there you can just snip off the thread. And that should be your first one all done.
Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it proves useful for you. If you do need ribbons, elastic or a stitch kit, they are available at both our Indooroopilly and our Carina locations. And if you do need any help on how to tie up your ribbons, please see our previous video on how to tie ribbons.